I'm Jake Fosco. This is Melissa Kellums. Our slogan's Make It Happen. We got a couple main ideas I think we'd like to accomplish for the university, so we'll talk about that real briefly. One of the first things we want to do is make sure that we tackle the semester switch. It's a big issue on everybody's mind, especially people who are freshmen and sophomore this year who will have to go through it. So we really want to make sure we're focusing on the right to graduate on time, so having a uniform contract to graduate for all students to be able to sign and say, you know what, no funny business, you sign this, you take these classes, you get out of here on time, no extra semesters for people who can't afford it. I think another thing we want to do is make sure we're creating a student advisor internship program, because right now it takes 2 weeks to get into arts and sciences to add a class or do a degree audit or something simple like that, and we want to make sure that if we offer students the ability to do some of those simpler things and pick up some of the slack, then there's going to be more time for the advisors to tackle the real tough issues going into the semester switch, so that students are taken care of and figuring out something so that it costs money to add more advisors and do all that stuff. But I think there's a lot of real talented students that could really benefit from the experience working in the advising office and kind of helping us pick up the slack through the what's the word I'm looking for? Transition.
Yeah, so we also want to make sure that we're conveniencing students both on and off campus as well. Currently you'll notice that there are no trash cans or recycling on the Oval, and that's an issue that Jake and I really want to fix, especially now that it's nice outside and students really use the Oval as kind of their main hangout point in the spring. So we want to make sure that they're able to use that as a space that's clean, and also to provide pet waste bag dispensers, so students that bring their dogs out are able to kind of be responsible and pick up after themselves, so that when you're playing frisbee or something, that the Oval stays clean. And then we also want to make sure that for students that live in the dorms, that there are printers in all of the dorms. This is an issue, it's not necessarily just about convenience, it's about student safety as well. If a student has to go out at 2 or 3 in the morning when they finish a paper and walk all the way to SEL in order to print their paper, it could be slightly concerning, especially for me being a woman on campus. It's not always a favorable option to go walking around late at night by yourself. So having a convenient option where students can go down in the lobby and print their paper in their dorms is something that we want to do.
And so we want to push for small things that really impact students on a day-to-day basis. We also want to make sure that we're fighting for real big things as well in terms of student safety and living off campus. Pushing for a real adequate sexual violence policy on campus so that people don't commit acts of sexual violence or harassment and just get shipped off to another dorm, or the problem buried under the rug. That's something that really we can't stall on. We'll do everything in our power to speed the process up to make sure that happens soon. We really also want to focus on stuff off campus, giving students more ability to basically live their life in a way that's not restricted by landlords, whether that's giving more students the option to pay rent online instead of just having to go out to a suburb the first of every month to pay it, or to drop your check off in North Step and then you can peek in and see all the checks littering the ground. Like, you can't tell me that's any safer than having a secure direct deposit thing online. So giving more people the ability to do that, especially for some of the landlords who are smaller and can't necessarily don't have the capital put together some sort of online thing with banking, as well as a Rate My Landlord website. There's Rate My Professor, and that gives students the ability to rate people. And every year USG puts out a renter's guide, which I think gives a lot of information, is put together well, but I don't think it's used. I think this is a generation that is focused with social media, with Twitter and Facebook, and the way people respond is by interacting. So having a website where you can say, this landlord did a great job, I really recommend him, or this real estate agency, not cutting it on these issues, that'll really give people the ability to promote what's good and provide accountability for the folks who don't provide the services that they're supposed to. That's kind of, I think, a broad kind of outline of what we want to do.